A business program entrepreneurial hour, hosted by Pete De La Torre, President and CEO of the Renatus Group. The Pete De La Torre Business Program will discuss economic development and business opportunities for South Florida. The Pete De La Torre Business Program is brought to you by Community Newspapers, Great Florida Bank, Titan America, and Professional Negotiators, Inc.
Welcome, South Florida, to the Pete De La Torre Business Program for Wednesday morning, September 12th, 2012. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have another incredible show lined up for you here. We want to hear from you. The phone number here is 305-541-2350. We have some wonderful guests, wonderful topics we're going to discuss. Let me tell you a little bit about what we do here. If some of you are listening for the first time, the Pete De La Torre Business Program is a 2-hour show that focuses on economic development and business opportunities throughout all of South Florida. The program has 2 one-hour segments. The first one from 10 to 11 a.m. is called the Entrepreneur Hour. What we do here is a focus on small business success stories and the resources available for today's entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs. The second hour, 11 a.m. to 12, we call the Power Hour. That's where we focus on the economic engines of South Florida, featuring the large institutions, both private and public, the initiatives, exciting projects, and the movers and the shakers of our community. Now today, during the first hour, again, very, very excited. We're going to start off with a very good friend of mine, an icon in the medical industry, healthcare industry here in South Florida. And that's, of course, Dr. Alejandro Badia. He runs the Hand to Shoulder Center and Ortho Now, both based in the city of Doral. He will be with us shortly over the phone. Secondly, Great Florida Bank, one of my incredible partners. We do a segment every week, and today we have another thrilling one. We have a special guest here, the owner of Cafe Abrace, Nino Pernetti. Cafe Abrace, I think you all know, is one of the landmark restaurants, Coral Gables, in all of South Florida. And he is with us here today, along with great dear friend of mine who just got here right now, my good friend Obdulio Piedra, Market President for Miami-Dade County, Great Florida Bank, and Senior Relationship Manager Sergio Ibanez from Great Florida Bank as well. And my third guest, representing Professional Negotiators, Inc., is Eli Llerena, who will talk today about credit restoration. And they've been on the show the last handful of weeks with the guy that runs it, Plinio Vargas, and more practical, relevant information for a lot of you that are going through some challenges. They can definitely help you. And just to give you a preview of hour number 2, we're going to kick it off with Barry Johnson, President and CEO of the Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce, and a new partner of the show, the LAAIA, which is the Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies, Daniel Baptista, who is a past president of the group. And I'm going to end up the second hour with an article that I wrote exactly a year ago as I was launching Renatus Group for the first time. And it's a personal story, and it's something that I actually kicked off the show back in October that I want to share with all of you now because as I look back, it's been very prophetic for me as I went ahead and did that. So I'm going to share that with you today, and I'll give you an idea of next week's show. So as you can tell, a packed program. But we're going to start it off with, again, a gentleman who has been a major player in the healthcare industry here in South Florida and internationally, and that is my good friend, Dr. Alejandro Badia. Welcome to the show, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Pete. It's really a pleasure to be with you.
I know that you've got a very hectic schedule. Your time is measured to the minute, to the microsecond. So I want to make sure that we don't abuse of our time. And again, how nice you were to be on the show today. But I know that you and I talked long time ago when we had another show going. So welcome to this show. And again, thank you for taking time to be with us this morning. Now, before we get started, Doctor, tell us very, very briefly about yourself. And you've got a beautiful family.
Well, thank you, Pete. I've been in South Florida since 1995. I'm yet another Cuban American, and hopefully, trying to be another wonderful American success story. Being welcomed to this country when I was really a baby, when my parents grew up in New Jersey, did all my education at really some very excellent institutions I was fortunate to get into. But I realized that I wanted to come back to kind of my roots. I wanted to use my Spanish to a great deal, and I just liked the South Florida lifestyle. So I came here in '95, and I co-founded what ended up becoming one of the really more well-known hand surgery centers really in the world. Not just in our community providing care, but also academically. We became a huge force, even bigger than the university programs.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, we had different visions, some of us, and amicably the group broke up about 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
And I was the first one to peel off, and I saw Doral as a real opportunity because it had a combination of the international market, which I'd already been very interested in, the people who live in Doral,
mm-hmm.
and also it's the hub of manufacturing and industry. So a lot of my work-related injuries, being a hand surgeon, a lot of my care is to injured workers. So I have both of them literally down the street from me.
Right in your backyard. Now let's talk a little bit about Badia Hand to Shoulder Center, and I know that the general manager of this radio station is a patient of yours, Tony Caladiu.
That's right.
A couple of years ago. So tell us a little bit about that, and how long have you been open, and a little bit to the keys to your success so far.
Well, I opened it 4.5 years ago with the intent on really focusing on the patient experience, on customer service. Nowadays, even myself, I called an office in Fort Lauderdale to speak to a colleague of mine, and I really couldn't even get through to him. I didn't want that for my practice,
right?
And so I wanted to make it very customer-oriented service, almost like a service business, which is really what medicine is. So I opened it, but with everything convenient in one place so the patients aren't running around. So I spent a lot of money on putting in digital radiography, fluoroscopy, and MRI. We have an MRI magnet right in the center. Mm-hmm. The problem is that, unfortunately, the insurance industries have gotten so big and work comp and everything that the bureaucracy sometimes gets in the way of the patients being able to benefit from that, and even the insurance carrier benefiting. So what happens is the same things are still in play where patients have to go elsewhere for their diagnostic studies or sometimes their surgery. At this point, I never leave the center. Mm-hmm. All the patients have the studies here. The surgery is done here at the surgery center of Doral, which is across the hall, across the lobby. And we even have a therapy center that I helped start called Integra. So
Correct.
all of those are under one roof, and we see patients, about 30% of my practice from international. So I have patients coming from, say, Barbados, Argentina, Peru, Guatemala, sometimes Europe, and they come here because nowadays patients are very sophisticated and they look up these things on the internet.
Absolutely.
And they're coming to me for sometimes a very specific operation they know I do, whereas my other colleagues might do with an open technique.
And I've had the pleasure of going to your place many, many times and been through a couple of tours. And, you saying that it's state-of-the-art, I think, is an understatement. I mean, you are ahead of your time, I believe,
no, it really
in terms
is
of technology
amazing.
and using all the tools that are available. And that makes that it's never good to go to a doctor.
No, it isn't.
Let's face it.
Agree.
We don't want to go to the doctor. But if you're going to go to the doctor and you need surgery and you need that, who better to go to than someone like yourself?
Well, I'll tell you, Pete, I had the experience myself. I was having left shoulder pain. I used to be a swimmer, never a Phelps candidate, but definitely I was a pretty good swimmer in high school and then lifted weights later on, and I had a shoulder problem for a long time. I had it injected, I had a couple things by colleagues, and finally I had the surgery done in my own center. And it was really a pleasant experience. I mean, the anesthesiologist, who's a Hopkins-trained cardiac anesthesiologist, did the block 2 days before Christmas. And he did this block, light sedation. I was in recovery room, and I actually saw a patient of mine in recovery while I'm in the stretcher. I had a patient that we couldn't get a hold of to cancel to postpone the appointment, and he came into the recovery room, and I had him move his arms and show me his motion. I have a wonderful picture of that. I'm laying there in the stretcher, totally awake. I'm actually having a little glass of wine. We were celebrating.
There you
Christmas.
go. That's what I wanted to hear.
It was amazing, and and I was able to do the therapy here and all under one roof.
That's when you turn to your patient and say, you see, I'm walking the talk. I'm here.
That's exactly
I'm a patient
right.
as well.
That's right.
Now, you've got another fantastic operation. Again, as I say, no pun intended, in the same building, which is Ortho Now. What's the latest regarding Ortho Now, and how long have you been open?
Well, it's amazing. It's actually a very simple concept, and I think the most successful businesses are the ones that somebody says, geez, why didn't I think of that? And the reason I thought of it is that I was a franchisee of a company called Doctors Now.
Yep.
And Doctors Now, if you remember, came
Yep.
to Doral, and the problem is we had great competition. I mean, Baptist is a wonderful, very well known in the community. They had urgent cares very nearby, but I wanted to focus on the orthopedic urgent care because no matter what, when the patients go to the other urgent cares in our areas, including the occupational health centers, when they go to these places, they still have to come see somebody like me after. So I ended up closing Doctors Now. Waited 5 months, put the team together, and we opened Ortho Now. And Ortho Now is an orthopedic walk-in center. So instead of going to say your kid gets hurt and you go to Miami Children's Hospital and you wait 6-8 hours, and then they still tell you, look, you got this fracture. I mean, they're very professional, very good, but there isn't somebody like me sitting in the ER waiting for your kid.
Correct.
So with Ortho Now, what we did is we made it so it's a walk-in center. We encourage injuries. We prefer you don't walk in with 2 years of back pain, although you could do that theoretically. But we encourage that the more acute things just literally come in. We're open, say tonight we're open until 10 p.m. So we're offering something new to the community with these extended hours, and you're going to be seeing somebody who really knows how to care for the injury without referring you elsewhere.
And not only that, but not having to wait 3 hours. No.
The average wait, I think, is 15 or 20 minutes. I mean, sometimes there's no wait. I mean, as we get busier, obviously there'll be some waits. But the difference is when you leave there, we're not sending you elsewhere. I mean, we might be saying you're going to get an MRI, which probably you can do in the same, hopefully you can do in the same building. And then at that point, we'd say, well, the spine surgeon's not sitting here right now, but the spine surgeon's seeing patients tomorrow, so we'll get the study, we'll order the right study, and by the time you see him tomorrow, everything's done, and we're arranging it for you. It's not like now you got to leave, the urgent care, the emergency room. Now you got to find an orthopedist's appointment, which is very hard nowadays.
It really is, and it's again, this is not something we wish upon ourselves, but life is life, and these things happen, and what we all want is to be taken care of in a normal time span. Not that we're looking for shortcuts, but not that this is something that's stretched out and it becomes another ordeal to deal with.
Well, it's exactly right. It ends up becoming kind of two ordeals for the patient. In fact, the second one's harder because getting in to see the orthopedist and then the right orthopedist, because the problem is the ER may tell you go to orthopedics, but then you get there and the guy says, this is a complex wrist problem. You better see Badia, or if somebody came to see me with a back problem, I don't. So we've already pre-screened that. We make sure the right person sees you and follow up, and many times even in the first visit, the right subspecialist is oftentimes around.
This is phenomenal, and I congratulate you for this idea and concept. But as we're wrapping up our conversation today, you are a world traveler, and you are in demand, and you're out there. Tell us a little bit about that experience and exactly the purpose of your trips.
Well, it has several. One is that when I travel, I get to learn techniques from other places. See, I just came back from Chicago, so at the American Society for Surgery of the Hand, I'm with my American colleagues, although a lot of foreign surgeons go. But when I go to their country and I speak at their meeting, not only am I teaching and sharing our knowledge, but I'm picking up knowledge from them, and it makes my practice that much better. But it also has created the contacts that I have really internationally at this point to allow me to take Ortho Now as a model to those places, because we're about to franchise it. So one of the things about being involved in the Doral Business Council is I'm learning so much more about business, which us physicians, we're not trained in that. Right. And we're about to franchise it. So you're going to see Ortho Nows, and not only in other places in South Florida, but around the country. And for example, I have a meeting in Dubai coming up in November to talk about Ortho Now, and I had recent meetings in Mexico City and Buenos Aires just in the last month. So
that is terrific, and I congratulate you for everything you've done, and I mean it very sincerely, Alejandro. The impact that you've had in South Florida, in particular Doral, when you and I met about 4.5 years ago when you opened it all up, and You've been a driving force for healthcare and the medical industry in the city, and I know that the city officials truly appreciate you being there and your confidence in Doral. So I congratulate you and everything that you're doing. As we wrap it up, what is the best way for the listeners to get a hold of you?
Well, now we have a few ways. My own practice, the website is really how most of my international patients reach me. It's so easy. It comes straight to me. If you go to drbadia.com, which is simply DRBADIA, like the spices, drbadia.com, that email actually comes straight to me, and I answer it, if I'm in Belgium or wherever, and we get that patient an appointment pretty quickly. But what's easier for patients is really to go to OrthoNow, and if you go to orthonowmiami.com, that opens up the whole orthopedic musculoskeletal sports medicine realm, so that way, the patients can, if they have a hand or wrist problem, they're going to end up making their way to me anyway through OrthoNow. But at least this way, you don't have to figure out, does he do this? Does he do that? It's just, bottom line is, there's a great team at OrthoNow. Or we even have an iPhone app. So I actually challenge any of the listeners to go to your iPhone app store. Obviously, ours is free. And you just you just plug in OrthoNow, and you're going to see it's the only app that even sounds orthopedic, which is amazing to me. And when you get the OrthoNow app, it's right on your phone, and then that way, when your kid or your coworker or anybody gets hurt, you've got all the information in an app right at your fingertips. And that's what we're going to be marketing to the coaches, the athletic trainers, the teachers, parents, employers. That's how we're really going to spread the word with OrthoNow, and we really want to change the way orthopedics is really managed in this country, particularly in this healthcare crisis climate. This is how to save money, not adding more bureaucracy, which is unfortunately what's really going to happen, Pete.
I know, buddy, and that's an ongoing struggle. But listen, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're a very busy guy.
Back to patience.
But I appreciate it very much, and we'll bring you back soon to the show.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you, and thanks to our listeners.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
We're going to go now to a break, and when we come back, we will bring on the ensemble here in the studio, Great Florida Bank Cafe Abrace. Be right back after the break.
We'll be right back on the Pete De La Torre Business Program Entrepreneurial Hour. Brought to you by Community Newspapers, Great Florida Bank, Titan America, and Professional Negotiators, Inc.
Hi, I'm Pete De La Torre, host of the Renata's Business Hour show. Do you hate your bank? Don't care? Are you tired of never being able to contact your banker and getting charged a fee for almost everything you do? Always being in the back of the line? If so, you might want to listen to what I have to say about my bank, Great Florida Bank. Here I get personalized, concierge-style service. And now is a great time to sign up for Great Florida Bank's Merchant Services Mobile Credit Card Processing Solution. Their team will take a look at your processing needs, and if a mobile solution works for you, they'll give you a mobile card reader for free. If Great Florida Bank can't meet or beat your current processing rates, you'll receive $500. And I'm going to share one of Great Florida Bank's best-kept secrets. They never charge customers to use ATMs nationwide. Plus, if another bank charges you an ATM fee, they reimburse that ATM fee anywhere in the U.S. At Great Florida Bank, they take pride in offering personalized customer service and even give their customers their cell number. If you want a banking experience like mine, the Great Florida Bank Standard of Banking, call my personal banker, Obdulio Piedra, Great Florida Bank's Miami-Dade Market President. Call his cell, 305-514-6450, and tell Obdulio I sent you.
Forever Smile Dentistry is dedicated to serve patients in our community. Their state-of-the-art technology allows them to offer you and your family the highest level of care you're looking for. They will give you a warm welcome and ongoing commitment to your dental health and beauty. Dr. Amaral and her experienced team are committed to excellence by providing you with the highest quality and ethical treatment modern dentistry has to offer. They work with their patients so they can achieve and maintain a beautiful smile and healthier gums and teeth. They take the time with their patients to explain their treatment options and inform them of additional preventative care. They feel this will lead to a more trusting doctor-patient relationship, and for many people, relieve the stress about seeing a dentist. Have you ever dreamed of that perfect smile? Well, here is where your dreams come true. Visit their website, www.foreversmiledentistry.com. To make an appointment, call 305-274-0425. Welcome back to the Pete De La Torre Business Program Entrepreneurial Hour, sponsored by Community Newspapers, Great Florida Bank, Titan America, and Professional Negotiators, Inc.
Welcome back, my friends, to the Pete De La Torre Business Program. And a very big thank you to Dr. Alejandro Padilla, who took time from a very, very busy schedule. And I've seen him in action, and very, very kind of him to be with us. And he's got two great operations. I keep saying no pun intended because he is a surgeon, but of course, a hand to shoulder center and ortho now. So good stuff, and I appreciate him being with us. Now, it is my distinct pleasure, as we do every week, to bring in my friends from Great Florida Bank. They've been an incredible partner of the show, and every week we're talking to all the different team members and bringing in a special guest every week. So let's get started by letting everyone know that in studio we have Obdulio Piedra, Market President for Miami-Dade County. Say hello real quick, Obdulio. Make sure everybody...
Thank you very much, Pete. It's great to be back. We have a great guest with us today, and I look forward to the show.
Terrific. We have Sergio Ibanez, a senior relationship banker of Great Florida Bank, who's with us here today. What's going on, buddy?
Good morning, Pete. Thanks for having us here today.
Thank you for being here. And our very special guest and a long-standing client of Great Florida Bank is Nino Pernetti, a South Florida legend in the hospitality industry and owner of Cafe Abraci in Coral Gables, again, a landmark restaurant. Mr. Pernetti, how would you like for me to call you? I want to make sure that I'm being respectful.
Well, good morning, Peter and Obdulio and Sergio. You can call me Nino because if you say Pernetti, everybody notices you have an accent, probably, So just
I got to say
Nino.
Pernetti.
Right.
There you go.
We don't want people with an accent in this studio today.
I don't want to sound like one of these Hialeah people and kill your last name, so we're not going to do that here.
Right.
Now, thank you for being here again, and I've had a chance to go through your bio, and it's funny because I'm reading through this, and it reads a lot like, those commercials for the most interesting man in the world, Dos Equis. I mean, that's, I'm looking at your book here, your cookbook, and you've traveled and worked all over the globe, speak multiple languages, and run an incredible restaurant. That's you were just sharing with us that President Clinton was there last night, correct?
That's correct. It was there last night with an entourage of about 30 people. And the pinnacle of the moment was when he walked in and he had the standing ovation. Everybody was clapping, and he, as you know, is very friendly. He goes around, he shakes hands, and to reach the table, he probably took a half an hour.
Yeah, that's great. I know he had an address over at FIU yesterday, and he actually stopped at a Fuddruckers in Doral before he went to do his thing. So everybody's like caught off guard there. So that was really cool. Now, getting back to of course the restaurant. What drew you to Coral Gables in the first place?
Well, Peter, I've been around the world, as you said, but my background has been in the hotel business all my life, and I attend the hotel school in Italy, and then I move up a position with Intercontinental hotel chain and Sheraton. And one day by the way, I've been here exactly this year. I've been 30 years in Miami. I came here in 1982 in July, the month of my birthday, by the way.
Happy belated birthday, my friend.
Thank you very much. And I was working in Caracas, and this was the moment that all the Venezuela used to come here to to Miami, and I came to, and I was struck by the way the life is, the dynamics, the community, the beaches, the sun, and this is more than paradise. I've been all over 5 continents in the world, and there is no such a place like Miami. Miami is to live. I came here, I decide, I became an American, and that's what I will stay, and that's what will remain for the rest of my life.
Now, what part of Italy are you from?
I'm in a little town, Lake District, outside of Venice, called Lake Garda.
Okay.
And so I'm born in a tourist place, if you want to, and I'm used to the water. And to me, water is life. Water is love. Water is passion. So that's what you have. And couple of these with good food, you have made that. You have nothing better in life.
It doesn't get any better than that,
sir.
right?
That's what Clinton told me last night. That's why he comes after to Abraci. And when he came in, I said, Mr. President, nice to see you again. And he didn't remember. I said, you have been here a couple of times before. Oh, yes, that's right, he said.
Yeah, that is great. Now again, over the last 20 years, your restaurant has hosted everyone, including presidents, dignitaries, politicians, business executives, and, of course, some of Miami's celebrities. Which patron, customer, surprised you the most when they came to eat at your restaurant?
What surprised me the most, and I knew, are all these artists from Hollywood. I had there from Al Pacino, De Niro, Tom Cruise. We see them on the screen like they are great people, but the public forgets they are great actors. Mm-hmm. And when they are in their natural habitat, in their natural ground, they're simple, and many are. Sometimes you wonder, how could they be such a great actors?
They become introvert.
Said Abdulio?
They're introverts at times.
Very much so. You have no ideas. Introvert, timid, shy, and you keep wondering. And I always remember a scene on Johnny Carson show many years ago. He had Elizabeth Taylor on the show, and he asked her, said, but what makes you stand out from the other actors? They are so good. What makes you the best? And she simply, with a nice, beautiful, wide smile that she has on her face, she said, well, everybody else is acting.
Mm-hmm.
That's
a great response.
And that's what it is. So she was natural. So these people, and I had them there, they all surprise. Even singers like this, they're all trained to be with the microphone, to be in front of the cameras. That's what makes very, very laid-back people.
Well, I think also to a certain degree, they expend so much energy when they get into their roles, and it's, they really get into it. By the time they're done with that, and they're chilling out. I guess that they're just they're tired.
That's correct. They are tired to be told what to say, to be told what to do, to be told how to look, and they are surrounded constantly by people. And they when they're on their own, they want to be left alone. And one point that I want to stress out too is that we had so many artists and celebrities at Abraci, but I keep them always low key. I'm not going out and calling the press left and right. They've been here, they eat this and that and that. I protect them. And also what I do, Pete, is that I always put next to the table one specific waiter to shield them, to prevent people going over there. They want to take photographs, they want an autographs, because, not everybody likes President Clinton or other president. They have the Secret Service protecting them, but artists and actors, they don't. So, and we protect them, and they appreciate it. They come back over and over and over, and I had many because of these.
So you don't have these situations where your employees are calling all their cousins and aunts, come over here, guess who walked in through the door?
No, we don't.
No, I think that leads me to my next question is what's really been the key to the success you've had at Abraci's?
This is a good question. These questions have been asked all the time. I probably define in one word only: passion. Passion for what you do. In life, you must have passion, whatever you do, how you look, where you are, and that's the key to everything, I think.
That is so important, and there are many entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, that are listening to the show right now, and I think that really is the magic word, passion. If you love what you do, understanding that you're going to run into challenges and obstacles, that's just life in general. But if you have a passion and you pursue that, good things will definitely happen. And this is a perfect example of that.
Every day you wake up, you just think and concentrate how to do better, how to improve, and be blessed that you're healthy, that you're in a good spirit, and you go out with pride, ambitions, and passion again for what you do.
Have you thought about opening a second Abbracci?
I did in the past have two restaurants, Pete, many years ago. One we called Baci. Mm-hmm. And this is Abbracci, hug and kisses, and you cannot be in two places at the same time. I had both for about 10 years, and I was too much, and I was losing grip. Not on one, on both of them. You want to be good, you stay in one place all the time, mm-hmm. and you perfect, and you oversee what you have.
I think in terms of go-to restaurants, whatever part of the country, most of the ones that you get that type of following is a one restaurant, one location. It's been cloned and duplicated and all that. And I know Dooley has a couple comments here.
Well, what other than the passion, it's also the commitment to feeling at home. When you go to Abbracci, it only takes to go to Abbracci once. When the next time you come in, the waiters know you by name, and there's always that visit to the table by Nino, mm-hmm. And with the certain flair that he comes in and makes you feel that you're not at a restaurant, but you're at home, at his home, at his kitchen, having dinner. From a business point of view, it is one of the places where some of the biggest deals in towns get cut.
So I should go there often, right?
Yeah. So Nino's place has been very, very special for many people, and I commend him for his service and the quality service he provides.
Thank you, Abdulio. I have to recall very quick one day a journalist wrote on the Miami Herald, I think it was Lucy Cooper. She said that you know what, when you walk into Abbracci, if Nino doesn't give you a hug and a smiley handshake, it means you haven't arrived yet in Miami.
That's a good point. Barbara, did you want to chime in? This is Barbara Marcel, who's with us, the Director of Marketing for Great Florida Bank, the Doctor of Marketing. So yes. I always want to make sure that I call you by the correct title.
Buenos dias, Pedro.
Buenos dias.
I just wanted to ask you, Nino, what is your favorite go-to dish? Like when you're at home relaxing, maybe on a Saturday night. I don't know if you relax on a Saturday night.
No, I think he's more than likely he's at his restaurant.
Right?
My favorite dish is really my girlfriend Camille prepares me a nice plate of pasta, simple. Olive oil and some tomatoes and a little garlic and onions. Simple things are the best. Mm-hmm. Many times people think a dish has to be complex in recipes and ingredients. Simplicity is the best. You can have a little fish in the oven, olive oil and lemon, and you get the fish out of the world. So simplicity is that. But again, what is good for the actors and actresses, what we have said before, what Peter was saying, outside of their environment, mm-hmm. they want to be themselves different. When I'm outside of my environment, of the restaurants at home, I can have a cheese sandwich and
or a hot dog.
And you're happy with that, right?
No, I have to admit that I'm not a hot dog.
No, I'm kidding.
No, but sometimes you have to. But just a simple thing, even a salad and a little fresh salad and with cheese inside, something like this. But outside of my environment, you can prepare fried eggs. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
That's not so bad after all. We got a couple of minutes left in our session here, and I want to ask you one more question, and then I want to turn to Sergio to chime in a little bit as your banker. I saw something here where you practice something called presence management. Tell me a little bit about that.
Presence management is vital for any business. Many people in many enterprises, they think, because you manage over the phone, over monitorings, no substitution for presence management. You are there, the employees, they know you are there. Even if you sit at the bar, at the table, or in the office, or in the kitchen, or outside talking with someone, in any business. Presence management is a key or a successful business, because employees, they perform better, they know you are there, and it's an extra motivation for them. Mm-hmm. So no substitution for that.
Absolutely. And I know you've been a customer of Great Florida Bank for a few years now, and of course we're going to get Sergio in now. How's that experience been?
It's a great bank. I know the chairman, Mehdi Gomeshi. I know him from a long, long time, and I was happy when he informed me that he was opening up his bank here. And I said, of course, I will be the first customers of yours. And first thing I said, tell me how much money you need to open up the bank, and I will help you out. I said, no, I didn't say
that. and after that, he's having dinner every night, right?
After that, he's having dinner every night. So no. Nino said we are in the bank.
That's Mehdi's chair. Don't sit there, okay?
We are in the banking business, not you. Anyhow, it's a great bank, and the people that here, Sergio, Barbara, and Obdulio, they're great people, together with many others executives I know, and I reckon they've been my bankers since they opened up the branch in Coral Gables. I'm very, very satisfied, and you know what? I look forward to go there every morning. My secretary deposits a lot of money.
That's a good thing there. Sergio, my friend, get in a little bit. We want to make sure that we get you involved here. Where can small business owners like Nino find out more about Great Florida Bank's programs and all the wonderful services that you provide?
Well, Pete, as you know, we have a tab at the Great Florida Bank, our corporate website, which is www.greatfloridabank.com. But we also have 24 solution centers where you can come in and talk to any one of our experienced relationship bankers who will assist you to help you with any of your financial needs. Just like Nino treats every celebrity as if they were their special customers, so do we. You can walk in and feel that.
Oh, so is that my celebrity?
Absolutely.
That's great.
As you walk into our office, you'll feel like you're someone special. And Nino does that a great job, treating everyone, whether you're a celebrity or not, as being special.
How can the listeners get a hold of you, Sergio?
You can reach me directly at my direct line at 305-514-6469, or reach me at my email at Sergio Ibanez, S-Ibanez at greatfloridabank.com. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you, my friend, for coming out here. Again, I'm a client of the bank, and my experience has been terrific, and we're growing together, which I think is great. And before we wrap it up, Dooley has one quick thing he wants to say.
I think that Jason Timmons has you in the category of rock star. So celebrity, rock star, which one?
That's good for my ego, by the way. I love hearing that. Gang, thank you so much. Nino, my friend, thank you for coming out.
Thank you very much.
Love to have you back again. And I have to confess, I haven't been out here in a few years, and you can count that you're going to see me very, very soon there. Dooley, thank you so much. Barbara, Sergio, thank you so much for a great session. And again, we do this every week. I have a great partnership with Great Florida Bank, and I'm very happy about that. So good stuff, my friends. We're going to go to a break, and then we're going to bring on Eli Llerena from Professional Negotiators, Inc.
We'll be right back on the Pete De La Torre Business Program Entrepreneurial Hour. Brought to you by Community Newspapers, Great Florida Bank, Titan America, and Professional Negotiators, Inc.
Hi, my name is Plinio Vargas, and I am the president of Professional Negotiators Incorporated, where we specialize in credit restoration, debt repayment arbitration, personal money management, and purchasing. Come join me and my staff to go over how to establish 3 very important things: money in the bank, no debt, and clean credit. Feel free to give us a call at 305-493-1900. We're open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And yes, we have Saturday hours from 9 to 5. Again, give us a call at 305-493-1900. Let me and my staff make your home and car buying purchases, that dream, a reality.
Today, everyone wants to be environmentally responsible, but you can't recycle your way to sustainability. Real sustainability goes far beyond recycling and requires us to consider the three competing factors at work in our world: the economy, the environment, and society. By choosing concrete as your preferred building and paving material, you will achieve sustainable results in all three areas. Concrete's durability allows homes and structures built with concrete or concrete block to withstand Florida's severe weather and keep your family safe within your financial means. Concrete roads and parking lots are also very affordable, have much cooler surface temperatures, and last 3 to 5 times longer than asphalt, providing a much higher value for the money on public projects funded with your tax dollars. Lastly, concrete pavements allow shorter stopping distance in both wet and dry conditions and are reflective, providing safer conditions and better visibility at night for both pedestrians and motorists while using less energy at a lower overall cost. Choose concrete, the material for life. A message from Titan America, one of Florida's leading cement and concrete manufacturers. Visit them at TitanAmerica.com or call them at 954-481-2800.
Welcome back to the Pete De La Torre Business Program Entrepreneurial Hour, sponsored by Community Newspapers, Great Florida Bank, Titan America, and Professional Negotiators, Inc.
Welcome back, my friends, to the Pete De La Torre Business Program. Thank you so much to all of my guests, Great Florida Bank, Nino from Cafe Abraci. It's an honor, and he was so kind. He left me an autographed book that he wrote, Nino Bernetti's Cafe Abraci cookbook. So I have some work to do here. I got some studies so I can become a chef. Laughing out loud, of course. Our show is on every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. here on 880 a.m. The Biz. We want to hear from you. The phone number here is 305-541-2350. I want to hear your comments, suggestions about the shows, what you'd like to hear down the road. If you want to get a hold of me, my email is info@PeteRadioshow.com. The landing page of my website is PeteRadioshow.com. Become a fan of the Pete Radio Show Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter at Pete Radio Show and connect with me on LinkedIn. Now it is my pleasure to bring to the show a part of a great team over at Professional Negotiators, Inc., and that is Eli Llerena, who is Marketing Director. We've had the pleasure of having Plinio Vargas the last 3 weeks. They've got a great company with just, I think, a much-needed service, especially in this economy, with so many of you that are listening today that might have been going through some challenges, are going through some challenges regarding your credit and your debt. So what we're going to do here today, we're bringing on, she is now a star in the making, and will be part of the show today, is Eli Llerena, Marketing Director. Welcome to the show, Eli.
Thank you, Pete. It's great to be here. Great to be back.
Yeah, you've been kind of in the background listening, and you participated a little last week, so finally it's so great to have you here today. And last week we talked about debt repayment arbitration, but we're going to get back to focusing today on credit restoration. That is probably, if I'm not mistaken, the primary challenge. And there's there's so many reasons why people obviously have their credit affected, and a lot of times it's not their fault; it's just circumstances. But let's get down to the nitty-gritty of credit restoration. What does it mean, and why is it important?
Well, I think credit restoration is important for the main reason we live in America, and like Plinio has said before, the American dream. Mm-hmm. People want to buy homes, you want to buy cars, and you want to get a great deal on it. And what's the best way other than to have good credit and clean credit, if that? Mm-hmm. Good credit history, good standing with your creditors. And not so many of us are in that situation right now. Many of us, because of life, because of situations, we've had a falling out. Mm-hmm. You know, our credit's not that great anymore. And what do we do? Where do we go? Who do we turn to? Well, I'm here to answer that question. And at Professional Negotiators, we have the answers to all your problems. It's as simple as picking up the phone and calling us. We are centrally located off of 441 and Miami Gardens Drive. If you want to call us for a free consultation, we have office hours 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, so there's really no excuse. Pick up the phone and call us right now, 305-493-1900.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, during the week, obviously, we're working, we don't have time, but the fact that you've accommodated your clients and future clients by being available on a Saturday when that's the time that the average person is free to run all their errands and take care of personal matters there. Now, talking about credit restoration, let's say I'm walking through your door. I'm a potential new client. Walk me through that process, if you don't mind.
Okay, let me walk you through the process. Upon you hiring me, Pete, the first step in the credit restoration process is I'm going to order Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Those are the 3 main credit reporting agencies. I'll analyze your credit reports as if I was a mortgage broker, a car dealership, pretty much anybody who grants credit. I'll then highlight all the negative items on your credit report. And once I've highlighted the negative items and diagnosed the problems, my job at that point is to fix it. How will I do that? The very first thing I will do is I will try to completely remove and eliminate as much of the negative information from your credit reports as I possibly can. However, Pete, I nor any other company can guarantee that we could remove 100% of the negative items on your credit report. Mm-hmm. And if a company did give you that guarantee, I would leave their office because they are lying. The truth of the matter is, I'm very good and aggressive at what I do. And with that, I can guarantee you in writing that I can remove between 60 to 90% of the negative items on your credit report. Now, if I remove a negative item from your credit report, that is money that you do not have to pay back. And with that, I ask you, do you understand what I mean? Mm-hmm. Well, let me give you an example. Let's say you have a hospital bill and you owe them about $1,000.
Right.
And you decide to go buy at a house. The mortgage broker is going to run your credit and say, you know what, Pete? I can help you buy this house, but not until you do what with that hospital bill?
Pay it off.
Right. But if I come in and I removed it from Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, and the mortgage broker runs your credit, and he doesn't see that you owe any money, is he going to ask you to pay that money back?
No.
Are you going to pay the money back?
Probably not.
So one more time, if I remove a negative item from your credit report, that's money that you do not have to pay back. Now do you understand?
I'm a little bit clearer. I have just a quick question to ask you that. I know that when they say you're going to go buy a car, or everyone is going to do a credit inquiry.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, that always affects your credit score. It drops your score. When I come in and you're going to start working with me and you pull up those reports, does that affect my credit score, just what you did there?
No, you're entitled to 1 free credit report every year.
Okay.
So when we order your reports, you'll receive them at your house within 3 to 10 days.
Okay.
Immediately bring them to our office and we'll start the investigation. Okay. So that does not affect your credit at all.
Okay. I know some of the listeners out there are probably thinking in the back of their mind, they've heard, oh my God, if you inquire about my credit, then it's gonna bring down my score and things like that. So that's very good to know there.
That's key. That's a great question, yeah.
Now, without giving names, obviously, this is totally anonymous, tell us about a client you recently helped to restore their credit.
Well, let me go back to where I was telling you about coming into our office. And if we remove that negative item, that's money you don't have to pay back. But if I cannot remove the negative item, Pete, my plan B is to negotiate a settlement where I will offer the creditors 20 cents to 50 cents on the dollar as a full and final settlement. See, one way or another, I'm going to get you out of that debt for the least amount of money as possible, increasing your credit rating, so that by the time I'm done with you, you walk away with no debt and clean credit.
That is important. In fact, we talked a little bit about the negotiating aspect last week, where obviously if you have a debt, your moral obligation is to pay off that debt. Right. However, like we've talked about in the last couple of weeks, circumstances happen, life happens, and we're just pinned to a corner, and we can't pay it off. So what's the next best thing is try to negotiate and bring it down. And we think, oh my God, these companies now are going to be shortchanged by 50, 70%. And we found along the way, and especially last week, that's not really the case.
Right.
And they don't get shortchanged. That's a whole different conversation there. But again, very quickly, give us one quick example of someone you helped recently.
Well, we had a client that came to us about a year ago. His credit score was fairly low. It was in the 500s. And his ultimate goal was to purchase a home. So we had to help him out by cleaning up his credit and negotiating some settlements. And he actually called us last week because he was able to get approved for his home after we negotiated a $20,000 debt he had with Bank of America down to $4,000, saving our client $16,000 and a new credit score of 715, making him more than available for a new home.
And what amount of time?
A year.
1 year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we all want, this country, instant gratification. I'm here now. Please resolve my issue right now. Doesn't always work that way. But when you think about a year flies by.
Exactly.
And if you're committed and you do the things that you and Plinio and the entire team suggest you do, and you follow that, and you don't, try to get off track, you're going to see the results.
And we do all the legwork for you. So pretty much it's a very tedious job. Not everyone wants to do that. Not everybody, like Plinio said, gets excited about cleaning up their credit. But it's a must-have necessity. I mean, if you don't have credit, what do you have?
Yeah, you better have a lot of cash in your pocket.
That's right.
And most people don't.
That's right.
This is great. Is there anything else you want to share with the audience this morning before we wrap it up?
I'd like to hear from the listeners out there. I'd like to tell them that if you have creditors calling you at home or at work, don't fret. Let professional negotiators get you out of debt. Give us a call now at 305-493-1900.
Say that number one more time and very slowly because I want the listeners to hear the number.
Very simple, 305-493-1900.
That's terrific, folks. This morning, if you're listening and you got challenges, make that phone call because I have seen results. And they, Plinio and the whole team, they're straight shooters. They'll tell you it like it is. But again, they are a light at the end of that tunnel. And that tunnel can be very, very dark, especially when it comes to your financial life and your credit. So, Ellie, thank you so much. I told you, you're going to become now a radio star. This is terrific.
This is awesome.
Thank you so much. One more time, the phone number.
305-493-1900.
Call now, my friends, and take advantage of this, okay? Ellie, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Well, we're going to wrap up now the first hour of the show. We had terrific guests this morning, Dr. Alejandro Badia, Nino Pernetti, Cafe Abraci, Obdulio Piedra, Sergio Ibanez, Barbara Marcel from Great Florida Bank, and of course, Eli Llerena from Professional Negotiators, Inc. This has been a terrific time. Great information. I hope you liked the first hour. But I've got news for you. Don't touch that dial. No. You stay where you're at because after a station break, we're going to come back and we're going to start with Power Hour of the Pete De La Torre Business Program, starting with Barry Johnson, President and CEO of the Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce, and we have Daniel Baptista, who represents the LAAIA, a past president, and we're going to have some good conversations. And towards the end of the next hour, I'm going to share with you a piece I wrote a year ago as I started the Renatus Group. So don't touch that dial. Stay with us, and we'll be right back after the station break.
We'll be right back on the Pete De La Torre Business Program Entrepreneurial Hour. Brought to you by Community Newspapers, Great Florida Bank. Welcome to the Pete De La Torre Business Program Power Hour, hosted by Pete De La Torre, President and CEO of the Renatus Group. The Pete De La Torre Business Program will discuss economic development and business opportunities for South Florida. The Pete De La Torre Business Program is brought to you by Community Newspapers, Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies, and Esserman International.
Welcome back, my friends, to the second hour of the Pete De La Torre Business Program. This is what we call the Power Hour. This is when we bring on the large institutions, private and public, the movers and the shakers of the community, and the big issues of the day that affect the economic future of South Florida, specifically Miami-Dade County. And we have two great guests that will be joining us now here. In a moment, we're going to bring on Barry Johnson from the Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce. And following him will be Daniel Baptista from the Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies, a new partner of the radio show. And towards the end of this hour, like I promised you before, I'm going to share a piece that I wrote a year ago as I launched my business, a Renatus Group. And I looked back at it last night, and it's pretty interesting what's developed in the last 12 months. So I want to share that with everyone once again. So right now what we're going to do, without further ado, we're going to bring on a man who, I get humbled every time I speak with him, especially on the radio. But you talk about someone that has that voice and that it just, it's up there. It's up there in the stratosphere. And but besides that, he's a great guy and a great leader here in the community. And that is my good friend, Barry Johnson, President and CEO of the Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce. How are you today, Barry?
Peter, wonderful. Thank you for the opportunity to be back with you.
This is great. Last time we spoke, it was 24 hours before the start of the Goals Conference.
Absolutely.
And a lot has happened in the last, 3 months now as we're getting into the fall. This is a big question, and I think I know what the answer is going to be, but you'll probably surprise me with some new things. But what is happening? What's the latest news on the Chamber?
It's incredible. We are back, as a matter of fact, when Labor Day concluded. Our calendars lit up like a Christmas tree, and we've got more opportunities for businesses to really come together and do great things. And it all really starts tomorrow night, so the timing of this program is exceptional because you mentioned the Goals Conference, which is the time we come together to plan the year. And then over the summer, the Chamber kind of turns the ship around and re-engineers it, and tomorrow night we really begin our Chamber year, which runs pretty much in concert with the school year. But it's an opportunity for people to come out, really kind of kick the tires on what the Chamber's all about, learn about the committees, the programs. It's a great business after-hours trade show as well. So it's the beginning. And from here on out, we are doing 200 events this year, as we did last year. So there's something there for everyone.
Well, absolutely, and I'm amazed. Obviously, I've known the Chamber for years and been involved in, throughout the last handful of years, but especially now within the last year, I've gotten a lot more involved, and we're doing some work together there. But I am just absolutely impressed and awed by the entire staff, your leadership, and the commitment and the professionalism. I think that's just second to none.
Well, we do have a great team, and we've got a lot of people who have been devoted to that chamber for a lot of years, and a lot of brand new talent, some of the cutting edge people. So we're very diverse. We represent just about every country in the Caribbean, some from Latin America, some from the United States, as a matter of fact, but all across the horizon that and the territory that we serve. But it's really our volunteers. It's people like you, Pete, and others who get engaged as a member and really make things happen. Our goals conference, it sets the priorities for the chamber. That's all done by our members. It's not done by the staff. Our job on staff is to really provide the opportunities for our members to really do great things, and they do. We've got some great leadership, and I have to mention our current chairman, Phyllis Oders, who is in Baptist Health, and she is a dynamo, and she's really bringing a lot of sizzle and a lot of great opportunity to us. We had our first Meet the Dolphins luncheon this past month, the first time in 9 years the Dolphins come back to Miami because of their former ownership, was in Fort Lauderdale, so everything happened in Broward County. Now they're back here, and she engineered that, and we're very excited about that.
But after all, aren't they the Miami Dolphins?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, they kind of lost their way there a bit, but and Miami's a lot bigger than it used to be. I mean, you talk about Miami, you're talking about more than just the metropolitan area you're talking about. I mean, people who live in Weston are living in a bedroom community to Miami.
Correct.
So
correct.
it's you got to change your thinking, but it's great to have them in the town where they're born and the brand that they represent.
Absolutely. And of course, this is the 40th anniversary of the perfect season.
How about that? It's amazing, isn't it?
It's. I remember it well. I was a lot younger back then. I think we all were, and that put Miami on the map in terms of Major League sports.
It really has. And if you look now, and you talk about sports in Miami and South Florida, every major sports team that you can imagine is represented here. As a matter of fact, our sports committee met this morning, and one of the things they're looking to do is to showcase all of the sports we have. People know about the Heat and the Marlins and the Dolphins, of course, the Panthers, but they may not know of other exciting things that we do here, like the Ericsson Sony Open, that's tennis on Key Biscayne, and we have the equivalent of having the Super Bowl here every year down in Homestead, at Homestead Miami Speedway, when the Ford Championship Weekend crowns the winner of the Sprint Cup, Nationwide Cup, and the Camping World Truck Cup as well. So there's everything you can imagine in sports is now here in South Florida, probably more than any other market in America.
It really is, and yeah, and that's a great point. It's just not the major league teams; it's all the other activities, the tennis, of course, the golf. The
Orange Bowl
has been here forever. The Orange Bowl. Last week's luncheon was very inspiring to see that the Orange Bowl committee is still vibrant, and this year we have not just the Orange Bowl game, but we have also the national championship.
That's going to be exciting.
And
that's a great economic engine for our town. It brings in a lot of people from across the country, and it's going to be very exciting.
It's going to be terrific there. Now, last week, I'm going to embarrass you a little bit here, but you were honored at the luncheon. Tell us a little bit about that honor, because I thought that was very special.
Well, really, the honor was ours because we were able to have the president of the Senate in Haiti and members of Parliament from Haiti come to Miami and talk about how things are going there. And it all goes back to after the earthquake a couple of years ago. The Chamber reached out to Haiti, and we put together businesses who could provide aid, who could help them rebuild. We were honored to have the former president of Haiti come be with us year before last. But we've made a commitment to them that we are wanting to be the connectivity between Miami's extensive Haitian community. We have the second largest Haitian community in America outside of New York and New Jersey, where a lot of people live. Here in Miami, and of course because of our geography, we're very close, and it's very much of the fabric of Miami. So we made the commitment as a chamber to be a business resource for Haiti as it struggles to recover, and we were honored that they were there to be with us, and we'll be back again. They'll be back in with the President and the Prime Minister in January for a half-day session, which will come right after the anniversary of the earthquake, to try to keep the focus and keep the drumbeat alive that we have a lot to do to help Haiti recover from that devastating incident.
And it's almost on an annual basis that Haiti is affected by, if it's not an earthquake, it's a hurricane, a tropical storm, and they are just you talk about humble people and good people. It's a shame to see them going through that.
It's incredible. We met early on with people from the Gap, who have a manufacturing facility in Haiti, and they were amazed the day after the earthquake when people were devastated. They lost family members. They've lost their homes. They were just totally without anything, but they were lining up to go to work because they had a work ethic that says, I'm supposed to be here, and this is what I do. And it's that kind of ethic that really needs to be nurtured, and we really need to figure out a way to utilize the support and resources that we can bring from South Florida to help them.
Absolutely. And again, the Chamber has taken a great leadership role with that, and my hats are off to you, because it's you've got the clout, you've got the large companies, you've got you've have the history, 105 years, I believe. So it's all in how you use that.
Well, it's
and you're using it the right way.
Peter, I thank you for that. It's all about really bringing the community together, and it's an opportunity for people to really leverage each other to help grow their business, help grow their brand, help make themselves better business professionals. And we try to make it pretty much kind of a town center kind of a feel, so that regardless of if you're American Airlines or AT&T, or if you're Emilio's Tire Shop, there's a place for you at the Chamber in a way to help you grow your business.
There really is, and I was very impressed at the Goals Conference with the new leadership that is starting to get to the forefront. Obviously, you have great talent on the staff side, and Diana Puchada, who I have a direct connection with, and so many of them there that so efficient and so they're welcoming, and that's a good thing. But the new leadership, taking those leadership positions in the committees. And I was impressed because there's this mistaking, I think, idea floating around town. It's just the same old people doing it again. I go, absolutely not. Yeah. I saw firsthand there's a new generation.
Well, we work hard to do that, because the last thing we want to do is to be stagnant. I mean, the whole idea is engaging more people, and that's why we have term limits on our committee chairs and others who can serve. So we want their talent and their time, but we also want to ensure that everybody gets a chance. In Miami, one of the cool things about Miami is we've got the best people you're going to find anywhere, and they're very willing to jump in because they really want to make this a better place. Everybody understands that nobody owns Miami. This is a part of all of us, And it only gets better when people take that extra step forward to get involved and to make a difference.
Absolutely. Now, like you mentioned earlier when we started our conversation, you have 200 events. I know they're not all going to happen the next couple of months, or it may seem that way, but you do have some exciting programs to wrap up 2012. Share with us a couple of them.
Well, we've got great ones. First of all, I hope you've seen this in the paper recently and on the airwaves. Is that we do an award program that is the community's most prestigious award program. We've been doing it for more than 20 years. It's called Sand in My Shoes. Mm-hmm. Last year, Eduardo Padron allowed us to honor him. It was a great night. We had a letter read from the president of the United States, mm-hmm. who wanted to be a part of the celebration. And we've just announced, we're really excited that Gloria and Emilio Estefan have allowed us to honor them. You know, it's going to be huge. And Gloria's got a show now. She's in California all the time. Emilio's out there. The recording industry is out there. And they keep saying, why don't you guys just move out here and save you all this jet lag and just be a part of our community? And they say, no, we're Miami people. So mm-hmm. we want to honor them for everything they've done for Miami. But, we do great things every month. It's not just these one-time-a-year awards like Sand in My Shoes.
When is the...
February the 20th.
Okay, February 20th.
And it'll sell out quickly, I guarantee you. So,
and where is the location?
At Jungle Island.
Jungle Island, okay.
And MiamiChamber.com is your guide to just about everything in the chamber, so you can do that.
Okay.
But we do great get-togethers every month. We've got on October 3rd, we're bringing in the new... it's not the new, it's his first visit here, the chairman and CEO of BB&T, right?
Yep.
They just acquired Bank Atlantic, and
mm-hmm.
The Bank Atlantic Center up in Broward, they're going to rename that. And then in November, the first Wednesday of every month, we do these, and we've got the president for General Motors for North America, Mark Royce. So these are some rock stars that we are able to bring to Miami, and to let our folks get close to them, make some business conversations, and hopefully some connections as well to help them in their business. But it's really it's a great place to be. But we're across the waterfront, whether it's domestic programs, international programs, leadership programs, government affairs. We're in all of those, and we've got something there for everybody.
You really do, and for all of the listeners that and I know some of you or a lot of you are members of the chamber now. Number one, if you're not as active as you should be, become active. That's number one.
Absolutely.
Take advantage of that great tool, a box that's available at the chamber. If you are on the fence about joining, I wouldn't think any further. There's some called paralysis by analysis. Don't do that. Join the chamber. You will have access to everything and anything you need because of its diversity. It's just incredible. And as we wrap it up here today, Barry, you have a monthly meeting, a gathering, which is called Bagels with the Boss.
Right, just did one this morning, as a matter of fact.
There you go.
Downtown.
This is, I think, a great way to kick off your membership. And again, if you're checking the chamber out, what a great way to get the overview.
Absolutely, and we do it we do it in different places and several times a month. We just did one downtown, as I mentioned today, had 40 people come out, and we're doing them now with regularity in Doral for the folks in West County. We're going to start down south to try to bring that back. We have done some in the past. We're getting a lot of interest in South Dade, so it's a great way to really check it out. There's no cost, and of course, breakfast, bagels and coffee on us, of course. And and you mentioned it right off the bat. It's all about engagement. I mean, when you join the chamber or any business organization, it's a lot like joining LA Fitness. It gives you a good feeling when you sign up, but if you don't show up, then you don't get as much out of it. So it's all about jumping in and finding a place to really get engaged, because it's amazing how quickly you can meet so many people and really gain ownership of our community.
But it's a two-way street. The chamber provides the opportunities, the programs, the events, but the other side of it is that the members need to connect, they need to get involved, they need to implement and execute to bring life to that membership. So that you guys look like heroes at the end of that first year.
Well, we're not about looking like heroes. We're all about making this a better place to live, work, and play. And the thing about it is we've got more than 28 different committees. There's a place to get engaged. It doesn't take a whole lot of your time. They don't meet every week or every month. Some meet monthly, some meet quarterly. But it's all about trying to find a way to hook in and make a difference, because I guarantee you, once you try it, you will really enjoy it. And I always tell people, do one that aligns with your business, and then do one for fun, maybe sports committee or creative industries or even governmental affairs. You'll find that you're probably going to get more enjoyment and more value out of the one that you really do for fun, because it's where your passion lies, is where you'll put most of your time.
Well, this gives the members the opportunities to have a voice and to be part of the growth and development of the chamber.
Absolutely.
Instead of just sitting back waiting, they will have an opportunity to craft the future of the organization.
Absolutely. Eduardo Padron always says that Miami-Dade College is the people's college. From a business organization point of view, the Greater Miami Chamber is the people's chamber, and I say that because we're not funded by the county or any government agency. It's all about individual investment from businesses that come on as members, maybe be a sponsor, maybe do a little advertising, whatever it is, but it's all from the interest of the business people wanting to come together and make a difference.
And you guys do a phenomenal job. You have set the bar, and you continue to rise above, and congratulations to you, the staff, the volunteers, the board of directors. It's a great place to be a part of, and my hat's off to you guys.
Thank you very much, Peter, and we always enjoy the opportunity to talk to all of your listeners as well, and hopefully get them encouraged to come out and see us. And again, tomorrow night is our open house in Jungle Island.
What time is it? 5:30?
5:30 till 7:30.
And what is the best way for the listeners to get a hold of the chamber if they have any questions?
Just go to MiamiChamber.com. It's the easiest way. Our whole calendar's on there. All the contact information's on there. And, of course, if you'd rather give us a call, 350-7700.
And if you call after hours, you will listen to the voice. Barry, my friend, thank you so much for being here.
Peter, always a pleasure, sir.
Thank you. We're going to go to a break, and we'll be back with the Pete Della Torre Business Program.
We'll be right back with the Pete Della Torre Business Program Power Hour. Brought to you by Community Newspapers, Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies, and Esserman International.
Have you ever considered why so many Florida homeowners and business people look for an independent insurance agent for their insurance needs? We consumers appreciate real options with real choices that best fit our needs. We gravitate to those who understand our options and help make our decision a sound decision. So when we're making a decision that is really important to our family, our home, or business, people who value independence choose an independent agent from the Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies. The LAAIA is a 42-year-old nonprofit organization who strives for an insurance environment that is healthy for agents and fair for consumers by working on legislative, education, communication, and community support. They help the independent agent navigate the ever-changing waters of the insurance industry. For more information on the LAAIA, please call 305-477-1442. That's 305-477-1442. Or visit their website at www.laaia.com. Imagine owning one of the finest automobiles in its class for a payment you never thought possible. Well, right now at Esserman International Volkswagen, it is possible. Because for a limited time, you can lease the all-new 2012 Passat S for just $249 per month. Yes, you heard right. A 2012 Passat S for just $249 per month with zero due at signing on a 36-month lease with zero security deposit. Only Esserman International Volkswagen can offer you such an exquisite combination of price and service. Enjoy it all at Esserman International Volkswagen.
Welcome back to the Pete Della Torre Business Program Power Hour. Sponsored by Community Newspapers, Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies, and Esserman International.
Welcome back, my friends, to the Pete Della Torre Business Program Power Hour, and a big thank you again to Barry Johnson for being on the show today, and a lot of excitement at the Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce. So, you want to be part of a dynamic group and network and grow, you need to be there. And speaking of group, we've added a new partner to the show now, which is the LAAIA, which is a Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies. And I've had the pleasure of working with them the last couple of years. And my good friend Tony Martley, who I've known forever, although I'm not going to brag about that because it means that we're pretty old, and that's not really the case there. But Tony and I have worked together a lot. He's the current president of the association, and what we're going to be doing every week for the next through the end of the year, beginning of 2013, is to bring on the members, board members, executive board members, and special guests to talk about a lot of important issues regarding the insurance industry. And today, I have the pleasure to bring on the show a past president of the association, Daniel Baptista, a CPIA, and before we bring him on, let me share a little bit about his background. As a Florida International University graduate with a degree in hospitality management and a minor in international business, Daniel Baptista began his professional career with the Four Seasons hotel chain in 1989. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. Yeah. Mr. Baptista, an accomplished hotelier, managed staffs of over 200 in the cities of Los Angeles, Vancouver, and Toronto, Canada. In 1995, he co-founded SOL Insurance, a centrally located insurance firm in downtown Miami providing all lines of insurance to a diverse cultural market. Mr. Baptista has been appointed to various state and national level insurance task forces and agency advisory committees, including the National Diversity Task Force in Washington, D.C. Mr. Baptista and his agency is a long-standing IIABA, FAIA, and LAAIA. A lot of acronyms there, but they're all important. Members and the winner of the LAAIA Insurance Man of the Year in 2004. And Mr. Baptista holds a CPIA designation for sales excellence. So we're talking to a really important VIP here this morning.
What a shameless plug, isn't it?
Isn't that great? Danielle, welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Before we move on to some of the issues on hand for today's show, tell us a little bit about yourself beyond what we just said here. Something personal and something really cool.
Something personal. Well, I really love the industry that I work in, and the amazing part of it is that we have an incredible network of agents here in South Florida that truly care about their consumer. We try to do more than just sell insurance. We try to sell a relationship with our clients, and we stay very connected with our community base, and it's just a wonderful experience. For myself, we've been doing this now for about 17 years. Mm-hmm. I've had terrific staff downtown Miami. We obviously do all sorts of lines of insurance, in particular in the property casualty area. Mm-hmm. And we run a very good business there, and we are so glad that we're blessed with a terrific staff and terrific clientele that we have.
That's great, man. I appreciate that, and like I said, a tremendous background, and I can just see here that you must bring a lot of value to not just your business but the association and all of its members here. So congratulations. Mm-hmm. Now, getting to the nitty-gritty, we are smack in the middle of today is the 12th of September, so I believe we're in the peak of the hurricane season.
We are.
And we had a little scare a few weeks ago.
We did.
With Isaac, and again, it was a scare, but it reminded us of what we've got to be thinking about in preparation for this time of year, and especially now through, I think it's the beginning or the middle of October where it's the peak typically every year. And we've had some killer storms in history. Now, first question. During a hurricane watch and warning, we talk about getting hurricane supplies, water, batteries, and a few things from our local hardware store. As an agent, what important elements do you see the public seldom do that could help them in a hurricane disaster?
Well, in particular with homeowners and renters that are out there, they rarely do a family emergency plan. Having one better prepares them and avoids vulnerabilities of their properties prior to a disaster. Homeowners think about logistics. They seldom think about logistics, valuables, and important documents such as their entire insurance policy document inventory, and then tend to think about the trip to the hardware store, as you said, or grocery store, and begin watching the Weather Channel really closely as their top 5 channel preference during these storms.
Absolutely.
But as far as the emergency plan, essentially it's a checklist. It's a checklist where one can go ahead and essentially do an exercise with their family right after a dinner, or with the family, and letting them know what their responsibilities are prior, during, and after a hurricane. This checklist really will give people a very good prep for any type of unsuspected situation. There's a great example in a website called www.ready.gov.com. It provides a 2-page document that can be pre-filled with important information. Things like contact information like utility numbers, FP&L, cable companies, but also contact information such as phone numbers, emails to loved ones, neighborhood meeting place, evacuation locations, insurance policy numbers, insurance claim numbers, and even information such as your health card, your prescriptions for doctor prescriptions that are so important during a very needy time, especially after a pretty bad disaster. There's not necessarily a form that will address everything, but it's a great starter. And this list really gives you the ability to basically put your needs in perspective. Every family's different. Every family's different sizes and shapes and what have you. So addressing all these elements so that their transition after a hurricane is smooth, and obviously you want to get back to normalcy.
What about for the and our audience is obviously a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs. There is a whole other set of things that the businesses have to consider. What are some of those?
Absolutely. For businesses, they can do the exact same thing as the family emergency plan. They can have a business emergency plan put together as well, such as how to store your documents. A lot of businesses are now going off-site with electronic documentation so that their information is preserved off location, as well as having phone logistics, internet logistics in place when the disaster happens. So obviously there is a plan that can be developed for businesses as well as for the families. And this is really important, especially when it comes to getting back to normalcy. You don't want to have a hurricane situation occur where you're down for 3 weeks because your phone's not working. So obviously having logistics redundancy placed into the office is key.
You can never have enough preparation when you're talking about a storm. We don't get hit with a storm every year. We understand that. The last direct hit we had was Wilma 7 years ago, and it happened, ironically, later on in the hurricane season. Is exactly, I think, October 24th, 2005. So it ain't over till it's over. We know that.
It's not. No, it's not.
And now, there are things that a homeowner can do that would be beneficial after a storm when making a claim. Share a little bit about that.
There's no doubt. In my office, we really stress the idea of taking an inventory of your home. And what does that really mean? Well, we try to stress to our homeowners, our clientele, that the great way of taking an inventory is really, we're in the electronic age, and now many people have iPhones and iPads and Androids. Simply walk around the perimeter of your property and take a videotape of your home. Then walk into your home and start going through every hallway and every room, and essentially stop in the middle of the room and do a 360, slowly with a steady hand, obviously, and take all the details that you can inside your home. This is such a great exercise, and just put the video away, whether it's in your iPhone or just put it on a storage base so that you have. This is a great tool so that if there was a hurricane, and obviously the damage was extensive, and you have contents that may have been damaged as well. A lot of times insurance carriers, when they're doing settlements, they're going to go through the property and they're going to do the assessment on the damages to the property or the house itself. But what they do need is assistance from the homeowner as far as what contents were damaged.
The before video or photos.
Exactly. So what happens is that insurance carriers will give you basically essentially a list to fill out as to what items were damaged, and to not overlook anything, that video is a great source for the homeowner. They can literally go room by room, identify elements that were damaged during the hurricane, and they can list these things and place the values for them. And it's all about bringing back normalcy to the homeowner by providing the information quickly, efficiently, without any doubts, because you do have that source with you, it essentially gives the information to the insurance carrier so that settlement can be done immediately.
There's two things to that. Number one, I think it's also a good practice because it isn't just about hurricanes. Because if you got someone burglarized your home,
yeah, that's true.
You have that on video. I had this here. Look, this is me. Filming this here, for instance. So, I mean, that's critical. But I think also just common sense here.
Yeah.
Take that video and put it in a place that you know where it's at, and it's not going to be damaged by the storm after the fact either.
Absolutely.
If it's on the phone.
Yeah.
Make sure your phone is not.
You hold it with two hands.
You hold it with two hands, and you keep that with you. Absolutely. I mean,
having the family emergency plan too, it also gives you the ability to list all your policy numbers and claim numbers, claim phone numbers,
right,
for each insurance policy that you have. And this is so key. After a hurricane, normally, a homeowner or a business person is probably calling your agent saying, hey, I need somebody over here, et cetera, but they don't have any of the pertinent information. But keep in mind that agents may be in a pickle as well because they're local agents here in Miami, so their phones may be down
exactly
after a disaster. So by having a phone number directly to the insurance company and having your policy number, you can expedite your claim process quite quickly by doing so. And really, it's about first come, first serve. Once that information's in, once it's being processed, and once it's in the hands of a field adjuster, that field adjuster is going to go out and start doing the adjustment to that home far quicker than if you were waiting for, let's say, your agent to call back or what have you.
That's a great point.
Yeah. The scenario of the squeaky door gets the oil. It's very, very important. It's always a first come, first served basis. And obviously, if you put your claim in first, you're going to be serviced first, and your claim more than likely will be settled quickly.
Now, are there priorities when it comes to hurricane preparedness?
Absolutely. First of all, family and safety is priority number one. Obviously, you want to make sure that your family is safe, secure, and you don't have any dangerous elements that will jeopardize any family safety. Secure your home. It's obviously one of the most important investments that you have for most families out there. So secure your home by essentially keeping everything in place and not allowing any looting, and essentially do not allow any additional damage to occur after a storm. One thing that homeowners don't realize is that there are also consumer responsibilities in regards to securing your home, and that is one element is if you have shutters, use them. Don't obviously, there's sometimes
they're not just there for decorative
they're
reasons.
Not there for decorative
there's a
purposes
purpose behind. There's a reason why you have shutters.
Right. Insurance companies also have provisions on their policies that if you don't put your shutters up, you may run the risk of not getting a settlement for your home. So if you do have shutters and you are receiving the discounts for those shutters, please do make the arrangements. And again, this is all part of the emergency plan. And let's say if there's a family that physically are unable to put up these heavy panels, have someone hired. There are hiring services out there that will do that. Have a neighbor, have loved ones do that.
That's a great point, Daniel. Something as far as making sure if you have shutters, okay, it's great, I got shutters, having the little screws to be able to put them up and not having to, at the last minute, have to run to Home Depot. And I mean, this is just practical common sense.
It's common sense, yes.
But it happens. Oh, my God, this doesn't fit. Or it's I haven't used this in 7 years, and I need the W40. I got to spray this thing to see I can get. I mean, little things like that.
Yeah. All these elements are very important because it does have a profound effect when it comes to a claim settlement. Never abandon your home. Unless you are being told to leave your home, and obviously those that are living along the coast do have evacuation process to go through. Never abandon your home after a hurricane. You want to preserve your home, make sure that there's no looting, and lock down your home. It's very important because really you don't want to be in a situation where your claim gets out of control with other elements that could have been controlled. The other thing is preserve your home. Don't wait for your adjuster to come in and say, well, you're going to need a tarp on that roof. Get a tarp. Purchase the tarp. Hold on to your receipts. When that field adjuster comes in, provide those copies of those receipts to the field adjuster, and you will be compensated for the cost of preserving your home.
This is great information, practical, common sense things that we should all be doing here. And And the thing about it is that a lot of people just sit back and they're caught up in the shock of the whole thing, and they feel like victims and, oh my God, and they don't act, and things don't happen. But if they don't act, okay, then going through eventually with the claims and all that, you might run into some issues.
Pete, the whole thing is to be active. Don't be passive about it.
Correct.
And
I mean, none of us wants a storm, obviously.
No, of course not.
But we've got to do things prior,
right,
during, and what you're talking about afterwards.
That's right. The the priorities also depends on the policy limitations. Now, here in South Florida, here in Florida as a whole, we have a company called Citizens, and there's about 1.4 million policies here in the state of Florida for homeowners here, and it's obviously the largest homeowner carrier here in the state of Florida, and a lot of South Florida homeowners are very reliant on that particular policy because they don't have too many other choices. Having that said, Citizens policies have made some dramatic changes as to what limitations that policy has. So when you are prioritizing, you're going to have to also consider some of the elements in which Citizens no longer offers coverage for, such as aluminum carports, screen enclosures, patios, awnings, tiki huts, gazebos, cabanas, all these elements that are typically outside in the open. And this doesn't matter if it's connected or structurally on the house or not. These items are no longer being covered on a Citizens policy. So when you're doing priority, obviously if you have an awning, maybe you may want to roll up the carp on the awning and secure the carp so you don't have to pay for a new carp if it gets all torn up. You may want to bring in your patio furniture because obviously patio furniture...
Become projectiles.
Absolutely. All these things can be pre-prepared so that you're not going to be in a situation where the cost is going to come out of your own pocket. And obviously the priority is knowing what your policy does and does not cover does give you a sense of what should be the priority of securing some of your personal belongings.
Now, as we got a little bit of time left here, obvious question. What about after the storm? What then?
Wow. After the storm, well, first and foremost, make sure that your family's safe and that you secure your home and make sure that your home is not having further damage after the hurricane. Right. Whether there's rainstorms afterwards, tarping the house and so forth, and don't wait for the field adjuster to be there. But more importantly, contact your insurance carrier as quickly as possible. Provide the policy number and be sure that you do have the claim phone number of that particular insurance company so that you can report it right away. And again, if you're going to rely on your agent's obviously going to be there during the toughest time of a hurricane situation, but there may be logistic situations, communication situations that may not be able to be communicating with your agent. So always use other resources in getting your claim reported. And again, by reporting it quickly, you are essentially getting yourself first come, first serve, and your claim your normalcy will come back, and that's what everybody really wants after a hurricane.
This has been a great dialogue, Daniel, and we cannot hear this enough times. And I know that every year we get reminded, and right as the hurricane season starts, and obviously all the local television and radio stations are doing their annual prepare, for the worst scenario and get yourself ready. And but and this is a fact. This is a statistic, is that there are hundreds of thousands of folks that are living now in South Florida, Miami-Dade County that were not here 7 years ago after Wilma. What we just experienced with Isaac was just, there are some pockets of our community that were affected with power and some damage. Let's not discard that. But overall, just think back to Wilma. Wilma was, when we got hit, it was Category 1.
Yeah, and don't forget Andrew.
And Andrew, we just had the 20th anniversary. That's a whole different conversation there.
It is.
That changed our region, our way of life, and obviously the insurance company. Because I was sharing with Tony in a couple shows before that. I remember in Andrew, at a house just north of the eye of Andrew. So we didn't get a break. It was 3 hours of intensity there. Yeah. And at that time, I had a policy with Allstate, and I was paying full coverage, including not this name storm deduction stuff that we have today.
Right.
$400 a year.
Yeah. Yeah. It has obviously changed.
That's 1 month payment now, I guess, in some policies.
It is. The one thing I also want to stress is that, aside from preserving your home, try to work with your insurance carrier during the claim process. Avoid
Great advice.
Avoid solicitors who are willing to fix your home. Try to work out a settlement with your insurance company. You're not bound with your insurance company. They are going to give you a proposal. They're going to give you a settlement for the just loss that you had. If you feel that it's been just, you can go ahead and sign and essentially get your damage from your home corrected. Having solicitors look into fixing your home, you run into situations where they're not licensed or they're not they don't have the proper qualifications. Your insurance carrier will assist you with that more than anything else. But always try, and this is the reason why you have insurance policies in the first place, is to be recompensated for the damages that you did not foresee. And obviously, hurricane is a peril that they do cover. And when they do give a settlement, analyze the settlement. If you feel that you didn't get what you thought you were going to get, then sure. There's always public adjusters available that can reassess it all. Sure. But always try to settle with your insurance carrier.
Absolutely. Great advice. The time has flown. This has been a great dialogue, Daniel, and we'll have you back soon on the show. For more information on hurricane preparedness, how should the listeners get that information?
Well, you can always refer to our website at www.laaia.com. You can definitely go to some of the local media websites that are out there with certain information, both for utility, phone numbers, and so forth. But just information in general, we do have that information on our website, so feel free to do so.
Thank you, my friend. This has been great, and I'm glad you're doing well. I know you had to go visit with doctors yesterday, but you look great, and I appreciate it very much.
Thanks, Pete. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. We'll have you back soon. We're going to go to another break, and we will be back with the Pete De La Torre Business Program Power Hour.
We'll be right back with the Pete De La Torre Business Program Power Hour. Brought to you by Community Newspapers, Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies, and Esserman International.
Have you ever considered why so many Florida homeowners and business people look for an independent insurance agent for their insurance needs? We consumers appreciate real options with real choices that best fit our needs. We gravitate to those who understand our options and help make our decision a sound decision. So when we're making a decision that is really important to our family, our home, or business, people who value independence choose an independent agent from the Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies. The LAAIA is a 42-year-old nonprofit organization who strives for an insurance environment that is healthy for agents and fair for consumers by working on legislative, education, communication, and community support. They help the independent agent navigate the ever-changing waters of the insurance industry. For more information on the LAAIA, please call 305-477-1442. That's 305-477-1442. Or visit their website at www.laaia.com.
Welcome back to the Pete De La Torre Business Program Power Hour. Sponsored by Community Newspapers, Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies, and Esserman International.
Welcome back, my friends, to the final minutes of the Pete De La Torre Business Program for Wednesday, September 12, 2012. And again, thank you so much to Daniel Baptista with the LAAIA. And again, a new partner of the show, and just terrific information, important information regarding hurricane preparedness, before and, of course, during and then especially after, and all the great things that we've got to do to make sure that we have to deal with the storm, and that's an unfortunate thing, but that we can move forward and take care of our family and our properties afterwards and do so. Great advice. Thank you so much, and we look forward to more relevant and important conversation in the coming weeks with the representatives of the association. I shared with you all earlier today that it's been about a year since I started the Renatus Group, and it has been an incredible journey. And when I started all of this back a year ago, I put together a piece, an article that was published in Doral Tribune and some of the other papers, part of Community Newspapers, another great partner of the show here. And it was my view, how I felt about things, and my vision as I started it. And I went back to it again, and I wanted to share with all of you again this piece that I wrote, and it's apropos more than ever. And I know all of you are at a stage in your life that you're starting again. So let me share this article that I wrote. It's called A New Beginning, and it goes like this. Thousands of hardworking people throughout South Florida and millions across the U.S. have recently experienced a major disruption in their professional and personal lives with the advent of the recent recession. This economic downturn has been a game changer for many of us. As I go back through the years, I cannot remember a more challenging time than this. For most of us, we've been forced out of our comfort zone, or as I prefer to say, the familiar zone, to an unknown world full of doubt and uncertainty. We stand at a crossroads, needing to make a decision as to which road to take, unsure of where it would lead us. This, my friends, is where courage, faith, and determination take on a whole new meaning. At this point, we either grow or we go. It's in our hands. The good news is that right before us, whether we realize it or not, is our chance for a new beginning. An opportunity to make a life-altering decision that in many ways may just end up being our finest hour. With an open mind and a fresh outlook, we can begin the process of reinventing ourselves towards new ventures and ultimately a better life for ourselves and our families. At this point, it's imperative that we take time to reflect, plan, and think out of the box on new ways to achieve our lifelong dreams. During this period, make sure you hold nothing back. Dream the big dreams. Create your vision for the rest of your life. Ask yourself the big question, what do I really want? If you have no restrictions, what have you always wanted to do, to be? In many ways, consider yourselves fortunate that the recent woes you've encountered have indeed been a blessing in disguise. Listen to what I'm saying now. There is no time to feel sorry for yourself or to whine about how difficult things might be. There is an old saying I heard a few years ago. Pain is inevitable, but misery is optional. Make up your mind to stand tall and take bold steps to taking charge of your future. All of us have something special to offer, a special set of skills, knowledge, expertise that sets us apart. Take time to discover what that is, and as soon as you are clear, without hesitation, boldly go out and make it happen. This is the time, a new beginning for the rest of your life. This is more important to me than ever before, my friends. And the Renatus Group is based on the spirit of reinventing yourself. New beginnings, and these new beginnings happen to us every single day. Embrace it, accept it, but yet make it happen. There are opportunities out there. They may not be that clear to you, but take advantage of them and get to work, because we all have the same opportunities. Never, ever, ever forget that. I want to thank the guests that I had during the second hour. Of course, Barry Johnson, the Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce, and you heard all the exciting things going on with the Chamber. Great organization. I cannot recommend it enough. And second, of course, Daniel Baptista from the LAAIA, who spoke about a topic that, hits us every year for 6 months, hurricane season. So great advice, and so happy to have the association as a partner of the radio show. Just to give you a sneak preview to next week, we got some exciting guests lined up. Juan Del Busto from the Federal Reserve, Wendy Kalergis from the Greater Miami Beaches Hotel Association, Alex Viglock from Miami Herald. And down the road, we're going to have, I think, third show in October, the superintendent, Alberto Carvalho from Miami-Dade County. So just a lot of exciting guests lining up, and new partners that are coming on board, and they're going to be joining us in the next couple of weeks. So very excited of what's going on here. I cannot thank you, of course, the listeners that are with us every week. Again, we're on at 10 a.m., here on 880 AM The Biz, the only all-business station in South Florida and one of the fastest-growing radio station in the entire area. Thank you so much for joining me today. Make it a great and profitable week. God bless. See you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Pete De La Torre Business Program Power Hour. Tune in again next Wednesday at 10 a.m. for more of the Pete De La Torre Business Program. The Pete De La Torre Business Program Power Hour has been brought to you by Community Newspapers, Latin American Association.